So, let's talk about mental game for Eni. We're going to help Eni along with his mental game. Tilting. Why is he tilting? What's bothers me most? Good that he's actually answering the question before he even hears it. What bothers me most is retrospect playing my C game 250s. That was clearly, obviously, hindsight. That was a mistake, maybe. GG's. Thank you. Karma win. Exactly. We're going to shove the ace-4 off. 4 says, Tom, what do you think is better, losing pre-rake back and large rake back gains, 70%, or tight wins pre-rake back and small rake back gains in terms of variance? I'm curious if you think EV is still worth it with such massive rake back gains on party. Yeah, I mean, just do the calculations and figure it out. I think on party, if you're playing high stakes, everybody's going to be Supernova Diamond Club Elite, right? So everybody's going to get that, going to get at least 80, 75%, 85% or whatever. But being on an EV deal will obviously make it more favourable to, let's say, losing pre-rake back and relying on rake back to have it be your profits. Yeah, we jam this. I think if I wasn't an EV deal, I'd always recommend, let's say, the higher chip EV winning pre-rake back. But yeah. We'll call the 8s. Good luck, Slayer. It's a flip. That's still a flip, isn't it? Let's get an 8 on the turn. Well, I want an 8 on the turn for some sweat. But Tobago says, what chip are you achieving at 500 Ultras? So, long term, I suspect it to be about 9. We need to build more of a sample. This month has been really good. It's been 15. But obviously, this month's kind of whatever. It's only the last 1K games. We'll see. My chip EV in the 250s plus, not ultras, the reg speeds, which are the 7.8 by the way. The chip EV in the PokerStars flash games at the 250s plus was 17, and then at the hundreds was 22. And my chip EV on party at the hundreds was 17 or 16 or something like that, maybe a bit bigger. I can't remember exactly. I don't have huge sample on the party, so we're still building a sample, but we know what other people are achieving, and then you can kind of guesstimate where you'd be. And I like to think, I mean, it would make sense. I would hope that some of the guys that I work with, if they're asking me for advice, you would hope that some of my decision making maybe could be good. We will see what it is long term. Decent profitable right now. Also, things change, you know what I mean? Lineups change and people get better, people get worse. I get better, I get worse. People start bluffing me on those double paired boards or whatever. And you just say fair play. Could well be bluffed in all those spots in future, and then my chip EV goes to minus 20. Maybe. I've seen things in stars I can't unsee. Recreational can value bluff king high over around a king 6 off. But Sticky's a reg. I mean, he's not a recreational, he's a reg. He's in this chat. We think he's in the stream. Hello to Sticky, by the way. I had top pair, mate, and now I'm going to check because I've now not got top pair anymore. Typically expect more checks, I think, from my opponent than leads. I think. Get a little block here. That's a really interesting line. Especially after we all talked about the blocks. Like, calling is pretty standard here, but I mean, this is just an 8 or a king, isn't it? Which is it? It could be a flush. Could it be a bluff? Could it be like some sort of 10-6 of clubs or something? Alright, show us the king. Oh, I ran out of time. I was pressing call, but to be honest, I think maybe that was a good time bank fold. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Nits are going to knit, aren't they? They just love to be... These old nits from Britain, the Brit nits, they just love folding. When we bet, so that we have to think of, when we bet check, what does our range look like there? And on that river, I mean, it is just a cool GTO, of course, but like, what does our opponent have that he would use that sizing with? And maybe just bluffs Queen Jack with that, in which case, would be very good. I don't know. Good luck to Mr. Slayer. That's, we got outs. That's not the out. Tony says, some hero called my triple barrel 6 high today, no draws. Wow. That's, you're in good games, Toboggan. You're in good games. In 10s, 4-6 off, called 3 barrel out position with 6 high as well. When you play 50s a few months ago to any, yes, lost pre-rate back, got tilted, tried 250, didn't work out well. Today 10s, tilted, plays 50s. Don't know, get enough sleep. What I would say, any, we want to try and, let's say, you know what it's time for? You know what we haven't done today yet? I think it's time for the mental part of the session.
That's mental. Come off it.
Mental game.
You.
Sorry. I went ahead of the mental bit. So, let's talk about mental game for Eni. We're going to help Eni along with his mental game. Tilting. Why is he tilting? What's bothers me most? Good that he's actually answering the question before he even hears it. What bothers me most is Retroflex playing my C game 250s. That was clearly, obviously, hindsight. That was a mistake, maybe. What I would say is there's no need to run out your bankroll. Just bankroll management and play the games. When you're jumping around between stakes a lot, that can sound a little bit like chasing the action or maybe a little bit of impatience creeping in. I would really encourage you to try and not look at poker in terms of the actual money, weirdly enough. Try to look at the process of poker. Look at the hands that you're playing and try and get enjoyment out of those. You know, it's a really fantastic, fascinating game where you have really interesting decisions, such as maybe this hand, if we turn something or not. And I think if that's the case, then you have, you know, you can really, I would happily play 10s, for example, on stream. If people enjoyed that, I would, if there's like a load of people said play 10s, sure, we're playing 10s now, no problem. And just enjoy that process and enjoy the learning, enjoy the different moves, enjoy your creativity, and really try and detach yourself from the actual money. And by doing that, as we make a fold here, we're pretty uncapped in this spot. We have all the straights, we have some flushes, we have some jack X, we have just way better hands. When you can do that, the nice thing is you can just take your time. You don't have to rush it. You play your 10s, you play your bankroll. It will probably go well, and then you say, I can move up. I'll play 25s at some point. If it goes up, if it goes down, it's all fine. You know what I mean? Nothing to worry about. And when you can become completely detached from the actual numbers in terms of your solid, nice one. Solid, nice one. Thank you for the follow. Solid. Nice one. But when you can get detached from those buy-ins, and I think a lot of people have that status as well, you know what I mean, where they say, well, I'm a $100 reg or I'm a $50 reg or something. I don't want to move down. And that's something I was very fortunate never to have that status about. I play 500 at the moment. If the games were not good, I would go and play a different stake, no problem at all. I go play 25s, no problem at all. It really doesn't bother me. And I think it should try and bother less people. Like go and play the stake that's the best and take your time. Poker, you don't need to rush. There's a lot of time in poker. It's been around a long time. It will be around for a long time. And enjoy it. Enjoy the process. And then everything's happy days. You know what I mean? Nothing bad can happen. But that's obviously all mental. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the mental game part of the show.
That's mental. Come off it. You.
That's mental. Hope that was helpful, Eni. We're going to do it regular. We always do a regular part where it's the mental game session part of the show, isn't it? So, did that help? I don't know. Who knows? Let's start with a check. I like this hand, potentially, on some turns. That's an interesting turn. Play 10s, Tomo. Let's go. 10s is an option. So I don't think it makes sense to turn this into a turn bet. We'll start with another check. Le Junkie is now following. Thank you very much, Le Junkie. So a really interesting spot because our opponent has more 3x than we do. We actually have some overpairs here. Like we definitely could check some aces. We definitely could check some kings. We want to unblock his bluffs here. I don't know if we actually do. I'm going to make a marginal fold here. He can have a 6x, he can have 3x. I think it's very, very possible that both could be in his range. So we'll just say GG. We'll let him have it. We'll call the 10-7. Suited. Always get 100% exactly to Megan. Exactly. No matter what you're staying, no matter what you're playing, always get 100%. Adol says would be interesting. Watching Crush from low stakes would be interesting. We might do it then. We might do it. We'll play a few before the end of the night, shall we? Yeah, we have to call it. So weirdly, this is like at this stack def wouldn't be a push, but it would be a call because you've got extra half a big blind in the middle, and so it's 1.2 to win 4.3, rather than if you're the small blind, it would be like 1.7 to win 4.3, and so the numbers are slightly different, and yeah. GG. Let's do a couple more.